Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 Mods Weekly, the show where we take a look at some of the really cool and interesting mods that released in the past week for Fallout 4. This week we've got a couple of new armors and weapons that are classic throwbacks to Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and we've also got a handful of new weapon releases that add some cool new stuff into the game, so there's a lot to be excited about here, and a couple of these are even available on Xbox. Now, the first mod we're checking out this week is actually an overhaul to an older mod, and that is That Gun Relightened by Exoclyps. This is going to take the original That Gun mod by Doom, and it's going to make some changes as well as add a couple of new features to the weapon, making it a little bit better and more modernized. Now, first of all, this is going to require the original PKD Detective Special Gun by Doom, and when you have that, you just install this mod over it, and it's going to make all of the ESP changes. The most basic version of this patch is just going to make some small changes to these stats. First of all, it's going to increase the damage a bit, as well as swap out some of the ammo types, allowing for rechambers to 38, 45, 44, and 5.56. It's also going to make it so that the 5.56 has a nice armor piercing effect as a reason to use it over some of the other ammo types. Now, those changes are pretty cool, but what makes this shine is the additional files available on the Nexus, and that includes different patches for different scope mods, including the West Tech Optics pack, so that'll add my scopes to the weapon, including the Reflex Hollow and the Marksman sight. It also has a see-through scopes patch, which will allow for some of the see-through scopes models to be used on this weapon, which is also really cool. And on top of that, there's actually a munitions patch for this mod as well, allowing you to add the 223 caliber to the weapon, making this a callback to the original version of this weapon, the 223 pistol from Fallout 1. Including all of these packs together adds for some really cool customization to this weapon that it didn't have in the original release, but it still has all the wonderful features from the original mod by Doom. Additionally, with this mod, you do get a new sound effect when you reload that will add the classic swing noise from That Gun in Fallout New Vegas, and altogether this makes for a really nice complete revolver. This thing's a lot of fun to use. I love the added attachments. It is really cool. Now, the next mod we're checking out is going to include some more classic mods and classic armors from Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and that is the Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas Outfits SPID distribution mod by Azali10. This mod is going to add SPID distribution to the mods from the Capital Wasteland team, and this is going to include a handful of mods. If you're using the Capital Wasteland Outfit Pack 1 or Capital Wasteland Outfit Pack 2, the Project Mojave Outfit Pack, the Mercenary Outfit Pack, or the Fallout 4 Capital Wasteland Classic Metal Armor, any of these mods will automatically work with this mod so long as you select them in the faux mod installer. Now, for those who aren't entirely clear as to what this mod is doing, it's going to take all of the outfits from these awesome mods and it's going to distribute them among the leveled lists on NPCs, so you'll actually see the armors appear in your game. Now, you could see some of these mods appear already, but this is going to make a few changes to them. First of all, not every mod on this list had integration, so first it's going to add integration to those mods, but additionally, it's going to add them in a scripted way that is completely conflict-free. It's not going to reference any existing NPC or outfit records, so you should be able to download this alongside any other armor mods and they should work together just fine. Ideally, if you do everything correctly, this mod and any other outfit mods should spawn alongside each other rather than having one override the other, which is really cool. This mod was built with compatibility in mind, and I think it's an excellent new addition to anybody's load order. If you're using any of these armor mods already, I'd highly recommend picking this one up so that you can distribute them among the level list. I know that this one is going to be a permanent spot in my load order. What's really cool too is that if you don't have all of the armors I just listed, you only have to have one of them for this mod to work. So if you're using even one, I'd highly recommend checking this one out. Now, moving on, we have a few new weapon mods to check out that came out this week, starting off with the Beretta M9A3 by Ardent. This is a really cool new tactical pistol to add into your load order. If you're a fan of modern weapons, this is definitely one I'd recommend checking out, as it comes with a lot of cool new features as well as some additional bells and whistles that make this thing shine. Of course, this thing comes with custom models and textures, but it also has some beautiful custom animations. I have to say, when I use this weapon, there's just something fun about it. Sometimes weapons are just fun to use, and I think a lot of that has to do with the animations, and the custom animations by Ardent here are absolutely fantastic. Additionally, though, this thing does have a leveled list integration and will start spawning on gunners after level 10, which I think is a perfect drop rate and a perfect faction for this to drop on. Now, by default, this weapon does use 10mm ammunition. However, there are a ton of patches that you can choose from to add 9mm to this weapon. You can have a patch from new calibers, caliber complex, armament, or of course my favorite, munitions. There's also additional support for tactical reload. This thing actually has a wonderfully in-depth FO mod installer. Whenever you install this mod for the first time and you're using a mod organizer that does allow FO mods, this thing will have a ton of options, whether or not you want to enable or disable tactical reload, whether or not you want to use some of the ammo patches, as well as some other cool features like leveled integration. This thing is really, really well done. Now, additionally, if you don't want to have leveled integration, you can craft this thing over at the chemistry station instead. And of course, there's a ton of customization over at a weapons workbench, including a ton of different parts that you'd expect, like receiver upgrades, scopes, magazines, and muzzle devices. But there's also different ammunition types like hollow points, full metal jacket, incendiary rounds, etc. Different material swaps that you can choose to add different color options to this thing. So you can have flat black, flat dark earth, different two-tone options. Lots of really cool stuff here. Everything you'd expect from a modern, fully complete weapon mod. If you're a fan of the M9 and you're looking for a brand new version of it to use, this is definitely one that I would recommend. For any modern tactical load order, this thing is a ton of fun. The next mod we're checking out is actually one I talked about earlier in the week, and that is the H&H Tools Industrial Railway Spike Driver by Micalov. That's right, Micalov has released a weapon, and it's not from the Institute. This one is very, very exciting. This is going to be an alternative version of the railway rifle, one that is more industrial and looks like a pre-war tool rather than a post-war scrap contraption. The idea behind this weapon is that it was a tool manufactured by H&H that was intended to be used by people to throw railway spikes down at the tracks to make railway construction very, very fast. And I have to say, I absolutely love the design of this weapon. It's super cool and it just screams Fallout to me. I love the industrial yellow look. This thing reminds me a lot of the nail gun, but just much, much bigger, which I think is really cool. This thing does use the vanilla assault rifle animations. However, if you use any of the reanimation mods, they will work with this weapon automatically, which is really cool. And there's also two different versions of this mod that you can download. One of them is a replacer version for the railway rifle. So if you're not a fan of the vanilla railway rifle, you can replace it with this one. Alternatively, you can download the standalone version, which will just allow you to craft it at the chemistry station. This weapon is a lot of fun to use. Functionally, it is pretty much the same thing as the railway rifle, but it adds a cool new aesthetic and just a few more options in the customization department, which is pretty neat. Altogether, this makes for a wonderful new lore-friendly addition to your game, and it's available for not only PC, but Xbox as well, so go ahead and pick this one up today. And finally, that takes us to the last mod this week, which is the SR2 Veresk SMG by Cadavver. This is one that I also did a full breakdown on, and I have to say, I love this weapon. I've been wanting a mod for this for Fallout 4 for a very long time, and it's finally here, and it couldn't be better. This thing comes with a lot of cool features, tons of customization, and much like the M9, this one is just a lot of fun to use. This is also a weapon that comes with a beautiful suite of custom animations, including custom reloads that change depending on which magazine you have, as well as custom grip styles depending on if you have a foregrip attached or not. There is tactical reload support for this weapon, so if you are a fan of tactical reload, you can have that as well. There are a bunch of custom sounds for this weapon, which is really, really nice, and this thing is also added to the level list, and will start spawning on the triggermen and railroad agents after level 10. And of course, you can purchase this from vendors and find it on the legendary lists as well. On top of that, there are also 4 unique variants of this weapon that can spawn out in the world that have some pretty crazy effects. If you'd like more information on their locations, go ahead and check out the full breakdown link down below. One small disclaimer before you download this mod is that it does have bugged third-person animations for power armor specifically, but that is the case with a lot of mods that have custom animations. Personally, for me, that's not an issue as I don't really use power armor and I especially don't play in third person. But if you are the small group of people who do play third person in power armor, then just be aware that that is a small problem. But beyond that, this mod is absolutely perfect. I love this thing to death. It's a whole lot of fun and a really cool SMG that fits pretty well in Fallout 4 Sandbox. Finally, this weapon is not only available for PC, but it has also been recently ported to Xbox as well, much like the railway rifle. So go ahead and enjoy that if you're a console user. With that though, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. It's been a pretty cool week for mods. Lots of cool new releases, some really, really cool patches and updates to older mods, as well as some cool standalone releases as well. So lots of cool stuff to look forward to. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to drop a rating. Consider subscribing if you haven't already for more videos just like this. And a big shout out to all of my patrons for supporting every single video. Speaking of which, I'd like to give a big shout out to all of my Tier 3 patrons. Thank you to Avian4, Captain Chaos, Glasma, Helljumper, Indecisive Wolf, Cushy, Logan Rigmaiden, Microhan, Moonlit Gamer, Feed, Scott, Steven, Timmy76, YouthRC, and Voider. You guys are awesome. If you'd like to support the channel on Patreon, you can do so using the link down in the description, but it is completely optional. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace!